On to the power rankings, Diamond, always a staple of the show. People like to hear what we have to say, and like always, I say bring on the feedback.
Sometimes they don't like what we have to say, and that's equally, that's part of the job. It's tough, is we just got to tell it how it is.
And what's really tough about that, Diamond, is we put ourselves on the hot seat to some degree.
You're right.
And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say this week.
Well, I'm going to get real honest. I'm going to confront some people, talk about things that I think are going to really shake out in the playoff. I'm going to call a couple people's bluffs.
Hey, I like it. Let's get to it.
All right, here we go.
5 spot this week are the Mavericks. They currently sit at 2-3. Look for them to pull the 3-3 500 this upcoming week as they face the Chiefs. What I like about this team, they got a great combination with Jared Bledsoe, Barani Johnson, and as always, Tyrell Sledge. One thing I don't like about this team and could prevent them from going very far in the playoffs is they shoot 60% from the free throw line. In those critical games, especially those playoff games, you got to make your free throws, gentlemen. In the number 4 spot are the Sonics. They just lost to AIS. Why did they lose? They played a fairly nondescript game. I've said it once about these guys, I'll say it again. They're a helter-skelter basketball team. Some weeks they show up to play, some weeks they don't. And as always with these guys, you got the usual suspects. Red Johnson. One thing that happened this week, same thing with the Mavericks. Red Johnson only shot 3 of 8 from the line. Part of his game is getting to the free throw line, creating shots, and scoring points at the line. Sometimes can slow the tempo of the game a little bit, shift the momentum. Red, make your free throws. That's how you guys are going to win. In the number 3 spot, a team I really like, they're surging right now, is AIS. They just won, and what I like about this win, they did it without Sean Smith. That's impressive stuff, because if you look at his stats, the guy puts in like 30 points a game on average, maybe 25, 30. Now, without that presence to go out and get a W, that's very impressive. And how are they doing it? The dynamic duo of Matt and Ryan Keating. These guys come to play every night. They have a great synergy on the floor. These guys are surging at the right time. They're going to make a serious push for the Gold Cup. In the number 2 spot, coming off a nail-biter against the Lakers, albeit without Denver Tenbrook, these guys are at the number 2 spot. Luke Witt coming off a 33-point game. And, one of the pieces that make this team go is Phil Sowden and Tyler Petrick. These guys are kind of the background players to the obvious Seabrands, Tenbrook, Witt. But as the defenses continue to focus on the 3 major pieces of that team, look for these 2 to make major contributions, sneak in, maybe score 15 or 20 a game. And in the number 1 spot, coming off an off week, are the Raptors. We saw what happened last time they came off an off week. They came out cold, they came out flat. I don't know what's going to happen this week, but they should prove it to the league that it won't hurt them this week. Now, what I'd like to see with these guys, they play the Mavericks this week, and what I'd like to see with these guys is a little more involvement from B.J. Lavelle. The guy can flat out ball. You've got your usual guys with Wells and Schnettler and Bradley, but I'd like to see Lavelle get a few more touches. I'd like to see him assert himself on offense, and I'd like to see where this team goes when that all comes together. Stay tuned next week because things could shake up. And on to the competitive division power rankings, where in the number 5 spot we have the Warriors. These guys, always a storied franchise. What's happened in recent times? Well, I'll tell you what's happened. Mike Burns' play has been down slightly, probably coming off a bit of a hangover after last year's championship loss. What else has happened? Danny Simmer fell ill about 4 weeks ago. Not sure he's fully recovered. Once he gets his legs back, and if he gets them back in time, look for these guys to make, a bit of a playoff push. In the number 4 spot, Mavs 2.0. Why do I like where they sit right now, and why do I like what the future holds for the rest of the season? I'll tell you, because Quincy turned back the clock this week. Yeah, that's right, Young Love. He turned back the clock, was on fire from behind the arc, and they got another valuable piece in the future, Marshawn Johnson. Throw that in the mix with Eric Ritter, who lights it up from beyond the arc. These guys, no one wants to play them. They have a lot of good pieces. They're a dangerous team. In the number 3 spot, Team Dime. What can you say about Team Dime? These guys are an exciting bunch to watch. They get the ball up and down the floor. They don't walk it up and down, pardon my language. They run it up and down the floor, and they're anchored, as always, by the N1 stylings of Johnny Webb. Watch out for Slinger, because this guy can do anything on any given night. In the number 2 spot, Flight of the Conchords. Same story with these guys, Dan Wheeler. But what I think is interesting about these guys, having just beat the Warriors last week, they're playing with a little more swagger. Why are they? Andrew Woolley came out on the network a couple weeks ago, made some bold predictions, and they're playing up to it. They're backing up what they say on the network and wherever else. These guys, tough team to beat. Number 1 spot, they've been there all season, they're going to remain there, are the Timber Kings. What happens when you combine 2 of the stronger forces ever in Ultimate Hoops history? A juggernaut, that's what happens. Zach Burke, Doug Espenson. They won this week without Ball and Wenzel, and what happened this week was unbelievable. Chris Tabrake absolutely posterized one of the Celtics players. I'm gonna have that player remain nameless because I don't want to cause any friction on my squad. Nonetheless, these guys are dangerous. Tabrake, everyone can score. Chris Palm, they're going to stay at that number 1 spot unless someone can come in and pull off a major upset.
On to the recreational division power rankings. Lots of playoff implications right now. If you're confused about the rec division playoff scenarios, fear not. We have broken it down for you. Going into our final week of the season, the following 10 teams have clinched playoff berths. 10 already clinched. Timber Puppies, Mad Men, Spurs, Sonics, Clippers, Bulls, Nuggets, Pistons, Husky Nation, and the Tornadoes. And the following 2 teams have been eliminated. Upright Citizens Brigade and the Machine. See it. Bye. Therefore, the following 4 teams are competing for 2 final playoff spots. The Tanuki Raccoon Dogs, Cavaliers, LBLCO, and the Imagineering Sixers. Using the Ultimate Hoops tie-breaking system, read up on it online if you're confused about it. They did a really good job. I know Paul Cruz, the commissioner, of explaining to you exactly how it's all going to shake out. On to the power rankings. In the 5th spot, the Sonics. Now, you might have seen the interview with Isaac Vogel. After the amazing shot, Isaac Vogel stated it's best night he's seen in UH basketball in quite some time. Thanks to the guard work of Justin Lawrence and his mind-blowing falling away 3-point bank shot, and he didn't call it. At the buzzer, the Sonics defeated the Bulls 52-51 on Wednesday night to finish the regular season with a 6-2 record. They're hot right now. They're going into the playoffs at the right time. They got a lot of momentum behind them. In the 4th spot, the Nuggets. Jonathan, yes sir, Moore. Lockhart, sell now. Big hole in the middle if they face a team with size. That's going to be this team's trouble. They really grind it out. If they can hold a team below 50 points, they can compensate for the lack of size and skill in the middle, though. In the 3rd spot, the Spurs. The Burrito Local Spurs. Chatter on the network, Catfish Walrack voted in as a reserve by the league, and now he needs to lead his team to a victory. I called it. I'm predicting an upset that the Cavaliers beat the Spurs this week 64-56. Neither team possesses the defensive finesse it takes to win a cup we've seen so far, but they're just gelling right now as we enter the playoffs. In the 2nd spot, the Mad Men, 6-1, and they had a bye week. The big question is, which team will show? The team has played its best basketball with the 7 or 8 guys they've had lately. If they mix back in the blend of people that they've had on and off throughout the game, I think it's going to cause trouble for this team to be determined to see who shows up for the game Tuesday against the Timber Puppies, who hold the 1st spot. That's right. The Timber Puppies. Interesting situation. If they lose, they would get the number 2 seed and face a tougher opponent in the race for the Gold Clubs. Only one to 2 teams can run with these guys at best, and it's been proven time and time again. I know this chatter on the network that the Clippers want to face these guys. Sorry, Clippers, it's not going to happen. You're going to be in that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th spot in the playoffs. So I think you can get to the Gold Club, but you're not even in the top 5 this week, so work on it. There's going to be a lot of implications that happen this week. Stay tuned because in Week 9, we're going to be talking about the March Madness, known as the Recreational Division Playoff Race.